We do. The problem is that we've pulled out, and the Americans have pulled out, and that is the problem. And we have to find a way now to support them. That's absolutely the case. And those who need to come here must come here. The doors must be open. We must do what we have to do. But the problem I have now is that the West, upholding democracy, the rule of law and human rights, is in retreat. We have now opened the door to the Chinese and the Russians, who, by the way, kept their embassies open throughout the whole of this, fully staffed, with permission from the Taliban. You see the Chinese Minister for Foreign Affairs now meeting the Taliban. They have now recognized the Taliban. So what are we dealing with here? Taiwan. Let me just read what the mouthpiece of the Chinese government said, the Global Times. They said yesterday, from what has happened in Afghanistan, those in Taiwan should perceive that once a war breaks out in the Straits, the island's defense will collapse in hours and the US military won't come to help. That would have gone out under President Xi's directive. They know what they're dealing with. Their belief now is we will not stand up for freedom. We will not stand up for democracy. And we have encouraged those, the totalitarian states and those terrible oppressive states that we know of, we have encouraged them to believe that we are in full retreat. After Saigon, America left the global stage for a decade, and there was terrible consequences. Iran and everywhere else. We cannot allow that to happen again. I criticized America for this, but I know also they are our greatest and best allies and best hope of freedom. We need to bring them back. That is the job of the British government, is now to bring the Americans back to realize their commitment. Let me just quote what John Kennedy said all those years ago. He said, "Let every nation know, whether it wishes us well or ill, that we shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe, to assure the survival and the success of liberty." That is what should enshrine our purpose. The concept of democracy and human rights is a delicate flower. It is not the natural state of being unless you defend it. And we must defend it wherever it is. Yes, there are costs. There is a better way in Afghanistan. But what we have done in this chaotic rush, despicable retreat from Kabul, is to hearten and to embolden those who would bring it down. I remind the House that President Reagan, when pressed about this, and I hope the US listens to this particular one, he said, "Freedom is never more than a generation away from extinction. It must be fought for." We in this House take these liberties for granted. We must speak out. America must come back, and we must send a signal immediately that we are not going to give way, that the totalitarian states of China and Russia cannot win in the end, that Islamic extremism cannot be found a bolt hole. Yes, we want to say Taliban must step up, but what will we do about it? Now we have to put means behind words. This House must make that happen.